To my knowledge, what happened yesterday has never happened before in Call of Duty. And what that is 2 updates came out for Black Ops in one day. This addressed things in zombies, multiplayer, Warzone, essentially all mode, adjusting movement mechanics, patching things in zombies, and trying to fix Warzone. But here's the thing, when it comes to these updates, I don't think that they are addressing the one thing that needs to be addressed, and the one thing that quite honestly is completely game breaking. In this video, I'm going to go over everything that was addressed in yesterday's update. The second one, the first one, there's already a video on the channel. It'll be linked down below. And then going over what exactly I'm talking about and how broken the game actually is. Let me dive in and explain to you exactly what I'm talking about. So first things first, the patch notes. So this part is for Black Ops 6. As you can see, we have a patch notes for November the 19th at 6 p.m. and November the 19th at 9 a.m. As I mentioned, I don't think this has ever happened before, where we quite literally got 2 updates in one day. The one thing I will say is Treyarch is going hard. They very clearly want this to be the best Call of Duty game that has ever existed. And the one thing that I will say, the one thing that I will give them credit for is they're doing a really good job. Things come up and it seems like a day, 2, at the very most like 4 days later, things are getting updated. And as we talked about before, there has been times where games have not got patched, not got fixed for months at a time. We will come back to that later on. Now, going back into the patch notes, first off, we have movement. So this is a global thing. This is addressed in Warzone, multiplayer, and zombies. They reduce the minimum sprint time required to perform the following actions: dive to prone or dive to slide. If you ever had the dead dive or dead slide animation happen where you go to slide and you just crouch or you just lay down, this is what this update is addressing. It was a big problem, but again, I don't think that this is the main issue in the game. We will get to that. They also addressed an issue that could result in being unable to sprint when performing several actions within a short amount of time. These changes apply to both Black Ops 6 and Warzone and should result in more responsive movements with fewer occurrences where players attempt to dive to prone or slide and instead crouch. That's the dead slide animation that we talked about. We will continue to assess and identify areas for improved fluidity with Omni movement. So Omni movement, the new big thing within Black Ops 6 and Warzone, they're continuing to make it better. That's great. Multiplayer movement, players will no longer be taken out of sprint when taking forward facing bullet damage with a melee weapon equipped. I didn't even know that that was a thing, but that's good. Zombies, this is an interesting one. Addressed an issue where zombies could spawn indefinitely. I don't know what that one was. And then Liberty Falls addressed an issue where players would not be removed from a chopper gunner when starting the main quest final encounter. Strange one. Directed mode. This is for you camo grinders out there. Exfil will now be triggered at the 5th hour of a dedicated mode match due to performance issues. I will say this, I've been grinding zombies camos. I was 100% in a game longer than 5 hours, and this did not trigger. This is to stop people from just staying in one game and completing every single camo in the game. Honestly, it's not a big deal. I thought it was going to be when I first read this. It takes like 20 minutes to set up on Liberty Falls at the very most for camo grinding. You still have 4 hours and 40 minutes to grind through camos, and by that point you're probably wanting to start a new game, load in with another weapon anyway. So honestly, not as big of a deal as I thought. And Gobblegums addressed an issue that allowed Gobblegums to persist indefinitely. People were doing a lot of scammy things with this, like having massive amounts of XP or having unlimited ammo, things along those lines. I'm not surprised they fixed that. And stability, added various stability fixes. Pretty straightforward. Moving over into Warzone, the one thing we have here is weapon trade stations. Reduced the chance of receiving specialist perk pack, removed care package kill streak as a trade in reward. There was essentially a way where you could have unlimited specialists, and that is what they are addressing here. So that got nerfed quite substantially. You will no longer be able to do that exploit. It was quite literally game breaking. Movement, same movement change that happened within Black Ops 6. I don't need to go over that one again. Weapons. Reload times for Black Ops 6 assault rifles and light machine guns are reduced by 10%. I don't think this is enough. I think there's certain animations within Warzone that simply just take too long. Take too long based off of simply playing on Area 99, things going extremely quickly, gunfight after gunfight after gunfight, getting caught with your pants down, reloading, putting armor on. things just take a long time, and this is something they reverted from the Modern Warfare 3 integration, so there's that. But again, I don't think it matters. We will get to that in a second. On top of that, going back to the patch notes, fixed an issue that allowed players to redeploy with a specialist perk pack still active, and fixed an issue that caused the winner circles emotes to play without audio. Pretty straightforward. But as I mentioned, I don't think any of this matters. Why? So here's the thing. I have actually been really enjoying the integration of Warzone and Black Ops 6 into one. I think for the most part, it is good for the game. I like what they have done with perks, even though some of them simply don't work. I like what they have done with the movement. I like Area 99 as a map. But if I'm being honest, there is something about the game that feels really, really horrible. And there's someone by the name of Tactical Brit who made an awesome video of this. Go check him out. He makes really great, like, deep dive analytical style videos on what's going on within Call of Duty. And in this video, he talks about how the integration of Black Ops 6 busted Warzone, but not for the reasons that you think. Some people, I've seen ridiculous comments saying that the introduction of Omni movement into Warzone is the worst thing that's ever happened to it, and I just simply don't agree with that. However, there is one part of Omni movement that simply does break Warzone, and that's the fact that it's fast. Now, fast is a good thing. We've seen since Warzone 2 was implemented that we've been speeding up the game ever since. They slowed it down in so many different areas. They've added AI, and we have since then been trying to speed it up. But with the new movement, everyone is moving faster, and quite literally, the servers can't keep up. Tactical Brit made two different videos, one about Black Ops 6 and one about Warzone. When he did his video on Black Ops 6, he found that the server tick rate was about 60 hertz. 60 hertz is kind of like an industry standard, but honestly, it still isn't good enough. Valorant games like that have 120 hertz, and it makes it feel way better. What you are seeing on screen, your time to kill and time to death match much more easily. And with faster movement, that is more and more important. The faster you can do things, the harder it is for servers to keep up with that. In Warzone, the server tick rate is 20 hertz, which means there's going to be way more instances where it appears as though someone's not looking at you, when in reality, they have already shot 3 bullets at you. Or you think one person is shooting at you, when in reality, they are not. It is someone else completely altogether. It's what you are seeing compared to what is actually happening is not showing correctly because of that server hertz. Now, basically what this comes down to is Activision being cheap with their servers. They could just pay for better servers. Then this wouldn't be a problem. Then the integration of the movement would feel all that more better. So they can do all of these things to improve the movement and make it feel better. But if what you are seeing on screen is not what is actually happening because of cheap servers, Warzone is never going to feel good, and that is going to be the limiting factor as to how well Warzone can actually do. I hope I explained that correctly. Now, there is one other thing I wanted to talk about, and that is the frequency of the updates. So we just talked about something negative, now I want to talk about something good. The frequency of the updates has been quite literally insane. This is something I've never seen before. I told you guys in another video that I got asked on stream, is it normal for Call of Duty to have this many updates? And my straight up answer is I have never seen this before. If we go back to Call of Duty Vanguard, when the Caldera was introduced, they brought that map in, I think 5 days before their Christmas break, and their Christmas break's pretty long. I think it's like 3 to 4 weeks. And when they did that, that meant that no one was working on the game for 3 to 4 weeks after a massive integration. And whenever Call of Duty has a massive integration, it breaks everything. So they introduced the Caldera, it broke everything. And then because of that, they were not able to fix it for like a month, like a 12th of the year. And when the Call of Duty life cycle is 1 year, that's a 12th of the game's life cycle, which is a huge deal. And then after that, they were just trying to catch up. But with the amount of updates that we are receiving, they are just trying to overly stay on top of everything that is breaking within the game with these updates. And I have to say, they are doing an incredible job at it. If they keep this up throughout the year, this is going to be the most updated Call of Duty of all time. It's going to be the most polished, because if they keep fixing everything that breaks, we really, what can you do? Complain for a day while something's broken? It is quite literally insane, the amount of updates we have received. And hopefully, I hope the servers are something that they address, because quite honestly, even the servers in multiplayer have gotten better since launch. They have, I will say that. My packet burst issue has gotten slightly better, but they're still not good enough. I think 120 hertz servers is what Call of Duty needs and what Warzone needs as well. And to be honest, they're expensive. It is really expensive, especially with how big a game of Warzone is, 120 players on a map. It is expensive for Call of Duty to do that. But I do believe in the long run, it is something that they would benefit off of. So I hope I explained that correctly. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I think I have another video coming later today, unless there's another update. If there's another update, I guess we'll talk about that. But I can't keep up with these things. It's quite literally insane. But as always, if you appreciate the videos, I appreciate the like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn notifications on. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time.
We are